Hi guys, Arun Kamath here. I thought I'd use today to go through the rigs that I use in my metal bands. I play in the band Beyond Salvation and also in a band called Screaming Beast. For that I have a couple of options for rigs depending on the gig that I'm doing. So generally when I'm playing like a larger room, a larger gig, I'll use the rig that I'm about to show you, which I'd like to go through for you if that's cool. In terms of signal chain, obviously it starts with the guitar. Now, you might have noticed a big gap here on this part of the pedal board. So if I'm playing a stage which I know is really big and I'm going to be able to run around and things like that, I'll usually put a wireless here, which will be a Line 6 G50 wireless. But if, say, I'm in the practice room or if I'm playing a gig where I'm going to use this rig, but I know there's not a huge amount of space, then I'll just go direct in with the cable. So it'll go from guitar into here. So the first thing it hits is the TC Electronic Polytune 2 Mini Noir, which is a little black Polytune tuner thingy there. This is really cool. It has a Polytune function. I don't particularly use it because it confuses me, but it's a great tuner, and it's handy as a mute as well between songs, between sections. After the tuner, it goes into the Maxon OD808 Overdrive. I've tried a bunch of different overdrives in my time, and for the kind of metal that I like to play, for the kind of style and my kind of tone, I find that the Maxon OD808 is kind of the best. I've got some other overdrives as well, and they're great, but for what I like to do in my bands, this works really well. And then from there, it goes into my ISP Decimator 2 noise gate, which is a great noise gate. I've used this noise gate, I've used the One version, I've used the G string pedal with the loop in it, I've used the Pro Rack G. I really stand behind ISP Decimator noise gates. I think they're the best. So anyway, I've got this gate, and then it goes from there to the amp. So that's all kind of before the amp on this side. And then over here on this side, if you take from the effects send, the first thing it hits is this Boss Ps 6 Harmonist. I don't use this in Beyond Salvation at all, but in the band Screaming Beast, for example, there are certain parts where I need a harmony. So for example, like a lead part which needs an octave down or a third up or something. Just a couple of parts here and there. So that's what this pedal's used for. It has other functions such as like pitch shifter, whammy, detune, that kind of thing. And it will sound better in front of the amp, but for harmonizer, I tend to find it sounds better in the effects loop. After that, it goes into these two pedals, which are both TC Electronics. This one's a Corona Mini Chorus, and this one is a Flashback Mini Delay. These are great. I have these on pretty much all the time for my lead sounds. I'll explain why I can have them on in a minute. These also have tone prints on them. It's been that long that I've put the tone prints on. I can't remember what they are, but these have, yeah, I think they're the Petrucci tone prints. But yeah, these are just to add a little bit of color to my lead sound or clean sound or solo sound. All these pedals are powered by the Voodoo Lab Pedal Power 4x4, which has lots of options. So if I had some 12 volt pedals, I could power it off this. These are all 9 volt and fairly low current apart from the wireless. This thing here is the Engl Z9 custom foot switch, which is a MIDI switch for the amp. It's powered by MIDI from the amp, so it doesn't need its own power supply. It does have an option for a power supply, but doesn't need it. The way I have this set up is each button is a patch essentially. So channel 1 is so patch 1, sorry, is my rhythm sound. Patch 2 is my lead sound. Patch 3 is my clean crunch solo. And to be honest, across both bands, I only really use 1, 2, 3, and 5. I don't use 4 all that much. Then we'll head over to the amp. I've talked about the pedal board, so now I'm going to talk about the amp. The amp is an Engl Invader 2. This this particular one was actually part of a 30th anniversary run. You can see by the 30th anniversary logo there. So what's cool about this, it's got this kind of black plate on the front. Since the amp went into production, I think this plate is silver, but I like the look of this. It's great. This amp is a 4-channel amp, each channel with its own gain, EQ, and volume control. So you can really shape the tone as you want. I think the tubes in the preamp are 12AX7, I think, and the power tubes are EL34s. It's got 2 master volumes, and what's really cool about this amp as well is it's got 2 effects loops. So remember earlier when I mentioned I can leave my chorus and delay pedal on all the time. So what happens is on my rhythm tone, this is using effects loop 1, which has nothing plugged in it. Then when I go to my lead sound or my clean sound, it switches to effects loop 2, which has the pedals on. So it means I can do less kind of tap dancing and less sort of switching. It's just one button and there you go, I'm on the sound that I need. So yeah, I absolutely love this amp. It's really, really versatile. It does everything from sort of really glassy, beautiful, pristine cleans. It does like hard rock sounds all the way through to sort of crushing heavy metal tones that I need. It goes into the cabinet, which is an Engl Pro 4x12, which I think is a birch construction with 4 vintage 30 speakers. I don't know a huge amount about speakers. All I know is that the vintage 30 sounds good to my ears. I don't really know much more than that. But yeah, it's a great sounding rig. You may be able to hear the rig on some clips. So thank you very much for watching. Hope you found this useful and interesting. If you like, you can subscribe to my channel down there. You can also follow me on my social media on Twitter and Instagram at Arun Kamath 86. You can also follow me on Facebook, facebook.com/Arun Kamath Music. And if you want to hear how the rig sounds, you can follow my bands Beyond Salvation and Screaming Beast all across all social media, basically. So yeah, thank you very much, and see you soon.